Aha, aha, aha. Hey everyone, welcome to Frontline Football. My name is Mr. Influencer, Corvette. Ooh! Hey everybody, so today I'm gonna open us up with a little bit of my stuff. So I'm gonna introduce my top 5 quarterbacks in the league. First, we got Patrick Mahomes. Why? Because he throws very far and he looks cool doing. Have you seen his no look passes? He's one of the best at them. Number one ever in the league right now. So my number 2 quarterback is that receiver from the Philadelphia Eagles because he looked really good on the Philly special play. And he's also one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. Number 3, I have Tom Brady because he was really good last decade. So we're going to use that this decade of 2020. He is one of the best quarterbacks. We'll put him at number 3. Then number 4, we have Cam Newton. Same argument. Because MVP last decade. We got to take last decade stats into nowadays. So he's number 3 on my list. Okay. No, wait, number 4. I'm sorry. And finally, we have the GOAT of all time, Nathan Peterman. I've seen a lot of memes about him, and I think he's going to be very good. So take this into account whenever you're going for anything. So those are my top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Frontline Football. This is just one thing, because I am Frontline Josh. You got to watch out for your TikTok takes. They may be fooling you. They may not know all the information. You know who does? Frontline Football. So keep watching us. But I want to welcome y'all to our new video. We're starting a new series called Hot Take Hotline, where we will do hot takes on different teams. But we'll tell you more about that later. All I'm going to say is you're going to need to watch this video with some sunglasses because these takes are about to get hot. So I've been Josh from Frontline Football, and roll the intro.
As you guys heard from the intro, this is Hot Take Hotline, and where we get the greatest takes. Oh wait, 1 second. I'll hand this off to Josh. I have to go make this call to someone. Yes, sir. We have your take. Yeah, we'll be saying it very soon. Don't worry. Yeah. All right. Goodbye. Josh, go ahead.
Okay, so let's just introduce you first to the rules of Hot Take Hotline. We are doing any and everything from a team. We will make a hot take that we believe is a very unpopular opinion in NFL circles. You can put your hot takes in the comments down below if you would like. It just makes it more fun for us. So we have 3 hot takes ready for you today, and we will be doing this team by team. Today, we have selected through a randomizer, a wheel spin, the Seattle Seahawks. So let's start off with the Seattle Seahawks. So we're going to start off with the lukewarm takes. So, start getting those sunglasses ready. Start putting on that sunscreen. You may get burned by some of these hot takes that we're about to show you. So this is starting off, very lukewarm. Okay, my hot take is the 12th man is just a gimmick stolen from Texas A&M. I have evidence to prove it here. So Texas A&M started their 12th man gimmick in January of 1922 when they played Central College, and they had a player who was on the basketball team coming for the football team because of all the injuries that they had sustained through the weeks. He didn't start in that game, but he was standing the entire time. So at Texas A&M, it's a tradition that the fans stand for the entire game because they might be called up. Now, that won't happen at a Division I game now because of how big the rosters are, but there's tradition in that. And I believe that this was in Dallas, Texas, at the Dixie Classic Bowl. So this is basically the story behind that one, Great story. The Seahawks started theirs 60 years later in 1984 when when they honored the number 12, even though that was worn by a backup quarterback before they started this gimmick. And it's because they had the loudest fans in all of sports, which they don't have anymore because the Chiefs beat them. But it's a dumb gimmick because Texas A&M already does it. And, your stadium is loud. So what? You barely have anybody attend now because Blitz Boy can't get past the line and Russell Wilson can't be good past week 7. So I don't get why you are trying to steal something from Texas A&M, even though that your way of using the gimmick is not as good as them because it's rooted in tradition. With yours, there's no tradition at all.
All right. I agree with that take. Yeah. They really did steal it from Texas A&M because Texas A&M at least had a story to it. Well, freaking Seattle didn't do anything, so I agree with that. Jack?
I think I also have to agree with that. I mean, 12th man for Texas A&M is a story where Seahawks, it's just home field advantage, which everyone gets.
Yeah. All right, Jack, let's talk about your hot take.
Okay, here's my hot take. I'm going in on Pete Carroll. I think he's overrated. Not like a super large margin, but he's overrated. He's not this top 3 to top 5 head coach. He's more in like 7 to 9 range. And here's why. Mainly because of 2 reasons. Recent success. I'm not saying he's necessarily a bad coach, but look at the success as of late, since the Legion of Boom left. Lost in division, lost in division, lost in wildcard, lost in division, lost in wildcard. That's not a very good record as of late. And next, go into the defensive ratings. Since the Legion of Boom left, so around 2016, the defense went 13-11. That's pretty good, and this is points and yards. Then it goes to 11-16. All right, it's getting worse. Then it goes all the way down to 22-26. Like, that is a below-average defense now. Next, it goes back. This year, it had a slight bounce back at 15-22. But still, it's a middle-of-pack defense. For a defensive guru, you got to be a little better than 15-22 to keep your status. My next main reason is failure to develop talent on the defensive side of the ball, specifically when it comes to scheme fit. I'll start out with some of the draft failures as of late. Anyone remember the name L.J. Collier, right? Defensive end from the Seahawks, former first-round pick? Yeah, you probably don't, because he didn't do anything. He's been down the depth chart. He failed to develop him properly. And that overall, it's been a problem since around the Legion of Boom. They were doing good before, 5th-round picks, 6th-round picks, 2nd-round picks. They developed their defensive talent, but as of late, there's been a slight fall-off. And my final piece of evidence is Jamal Adams as a human being in Seahawks land. You're telling me that this guy was a 2-time All-Pro as a New York Jet, and he's not an elite pass coverager, but he's good enough. He can do it. He could do it. He was targeted significantly less in his time in New York. But then are you telling me that he's one of the worst coverage safeties in the league now? And don't get me started on the playoff performance where it was just a liability on the field. So what's the problem? Why is the Jets able to properly scheme up Jamal Adams and the Seahawks can't? What happened to the defensive genius? You're getting beat out by Greg I blitz on a Hail Mary Williams here. That's a problem. Overall, I'm not saying Pete Carroll's a bad coach, but the idea that he's this top 5 head coach who hasn't been to a freaking championship game since he lost a Super Bowl all those years ago, I have my questions about him, and I think he may have lost a step over the last couple years.
Dang. That covers my counter argument. Good job. I agree with that. Pete Carroll is a very overrated coach. Sometimes that people put him in top 3. Some people put him at top 2. I think that he's might not even be a top 10 head coach on how well. Because there is some argument that Jack didn't even bring up. Some of the players in that Legion of Boom hated the personnel. If you hate the personnel, then you're doing something wrong as a head coach. So I totally agree with that take. And you cover mostly every single point, except for like a few here and there, but you covered a lot of them. So that's very good. Good job. Josh?
Yeah, I can see the stuff even with the take, because even before he had coached in New England, and then he got out for Bill Belichick. So I can even see where you're coming from there. But I do have one question for this. What about when the Legion of Boom was there? Where would the ranking be? Because he did win those 2 Super Bowls, or that one Super Bowl, 48. So what about when he was there? What would the ranking be then?
The defensive ranking?
Oh, no, the ranking of him as a head coach.
Oh, back in the day. Yeah, he was a top 5 to 3 head coach. Even 2 or 1. I don't put him past Belichick ever, but he was up there. I just think as of the last half decade or so since the Legion of Boom left, he's definitely taken a step back, specifically in his ability to develop homegrown talent, and even the ones he brings in.
Okay.
Those sound like good points.
Yes. Good job, Jack. All right. With my final one. Now, if you're hearing Jack's take and he has a lot of evidence behind it, you've heard Josh's. It's still like a simmer, but it's still a really good hot take. What are you thinking that Zach, the best frontline football person that best frontline football, your favorite person on frontline football has in store for you? All right. Well, I say this. Russell Wilson is not a top 5 quarterback. Now, you must be punching your screen saying, Zach, you are stupid. All right, let me show you. So, when the Legion of Boom was around, when Russell Wilson actually did make his first ever start as a NFL player, it was in 2012. They beat the Redskins, and then they lost. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, no, Redskins, yeah, because it's back in that time. And then they lost to the Falcons. Okay, that's fine. And if he actually did play in like in 2010, if you guys want to bring up that, they beat the Saints and then they lost to the Bears. This is like the beginning of Legion of Boom, so it's fine. Then this is what happens. In 2013, they win against every single team in the Super Bowl. They beat the Saints, the Niners, and the Broncos because they had a first round bye. Next year, they have the first seed again. But they did lose in the Super Bowl against New England because of the best corner for the Cardinals right now, Malcolm Butler, intercepted them at the goal line. So, yeah, okay. You only had one Super Bowl win, but you guys can bounce back, right? Nope, you guys really can't because next year in 2015, you beat Minnesota, but what was that for? Oh, yeah, wide right. Okay, so wide right. So that happens to every kicker, okay? Then you lose to Panthers. I understand that the Panthers are good. It's just you had the Legion of Boom. You at least should have actually probably beat these guys, in my opinion. Because I think that you guys have a better team than that Carolina team. And you guys could have beaten Peyton Manning. So where's that there? And Russ, I'm bringing up these stats because it's Legion of Boom's fault, but it's also Russ's fault for not stepping up to the plate. Because if he wanted to step up, these are the games to step up in playoffs. Okay, and then the next year, you beat the Lions. Okay, the Lions literally they never won a playoff game with Matthew Stafford. What are you getting out of that? And then you lose to Atlanta. I know Atlanta went on that Super Bowl run, but you still could have beaten them. You still had some pieces from the Legion of Boom. You had a lot of good things. And this is when Pete Carroll shows that he's a bad head coach, like Jack mentioned. Okay, and then it's like, okay, well, we have the Cowboys. We should beat these guys. Nope, you guys don't even beat the Cowboys. Thanks a lot. Jason Garrett was still there because of you guys. Yeah, Russ should have stepped up again, and he did a little bit because the score was actually pretty good, but still, it's not playoff. It's not good because if you're a top 5 quarterback, you should be stepping up. Then 2019, they beat Philly, but Philly was injured to hell and back. And sorry. And then divisional, they faced the Packers. The Packers destroyed them. Okay, and then finally we get to 2020. Okay, Jared Goff didn't even basically have a finger, and you guys still can't beat them. What the frick is going on with Russ? Russ was supposed to be this MVP quarterback. What happened to him in this game? There's no excuse anymore. And then you see his stats. Okay, really good season this year. 40 touchdowns, interceptions were more, but yeah. But you see the talent too. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and then their third option, whoever it is. And they also had great goal set. So I'm not saying that like Russ could be a top 5 quarterback. He's not top 3 or top 4. He can't get a playoff win. I'm going to name off some players that are in the top 5 for good reason. Patrick Mahomes can actually win in playoffs and win a Super Bowl. But I still don't trust him as much. Deshaun Watson literally has been carrying his team and gotten playoff wins because of that. And he's gone against good ones too. Then we have Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the best quarterback to ever play. And Aaron Rodgers. Those quarterbacks I just mentioned, and you can even say Josh Allen because he beat a lot of good opponents. Those teams I mentioned are really those quarterbacks, they play on either horrible teams or they play on really solid teams, but they really stepped up during playoffs. Russell Wilson has never stepped up during playoffs, and that's the reason why he's not a top 5 quarterback. If he sneaks into number 5, that makes sense, but he is not a top 5 quarterback just because of these reasons. His stats look good, yes, but most of that is week 1 to 7 stats because he's putting off oh my gosh, like he pulls up godly numbers and then he does horrible in the next half of the season, especially in playoffs. All right, there we go. What do you guys have anything to say?
I don't have a counter argument. That's a good argument.
Josh?
Well, I'm just going to say, what about his regular season stats or the stats in those playoff games?
The stats in the playoff
First, let's ask.
The thing is, the opponents they faced, okay, so after the Legion of Boom, which the Legion of Boom really carried him to the Super Bowls, in my opinion, and he didn't have good coaching. So, yeah, you can make a strong argument for that, but still, he basically beat a Minnesota Vikings team. If they make that field goal, they're out of the playoffs. They don't face the Panthers. Then the Lions. The Lions haven't won anything. You're basically just beating up on a team that barely made it into the playoffs. You should be beating that team. And then the Falcons, they should have beat. I know that the Falcons had Mohamed Sanu and a bunch of good opponents, but Russ has never stepped up in playoffs in his regular season. I don't care if you have a good regular season. It matters when you're a top 5 quarterback in playoff situation. If he only has 1 ring and he's a top 5 quarterback, if it's like an Aaron Rodgers situation, I understand that because you have MVP accolades. He has 3 MVPs. He's good. He should be a top 5 quarterback. Russell Wilson has never gotten an MVP vote. That's how bad this sounds. You're not a top 5 quarterback if you don't have an MVP vote. So, yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
All right. Well, if you guys disagree with our hot takes, especially mine, because mine is a very controversial one, or Jack's or Josh's, put your arguments down in the comments below. Now, don't get so offended about everyone's hot take. It's someone else's own opinion. Don't get mad at someone just for doing their hot take and speaking out what they think. Now, if you have a different hot take about the Seahawks, put it in the comments below, like Blitz Boy's overrated. Like, we know that he's overrated, but give like Blitz Boy's a top 3 safety and then give some reasonings why. We'll be interested. We'll have a fun time. Yeah. So, remember to share the video. And Josh, what do they do if they like it?
Well, just like everybody else said, don't forget, this is just our silly opinion. We're just having fun on YouTube, so don't get your feelings all hurt because we said something about your team that you don't like. So, but yeah, if you like what you saw here, don't forget to hit that like button or that dislike button if you hate our takes. It doesn't matter. YouTube promotes it either way. And don't forget to hit subscribe and just do all that stuff. And once you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, you become a part of the Frontline Football fan base, which is a great fan base to join. You know, because you're up to date on all the different news because we show you weekly news videos. Unfortunately, news has been very slow these last couple of weeks. But I will tell you that we're going to be starting to heat up as the season starts to heat up. We'll start posting more and getting you more stuff as you need it. So just wait and we'll give you some stuff. So I've been Josh from Frontline Football. I want to thank you for getting to this part of the video because you are a real one if you get to this part of the video. And Jack, hit the plugs.
As always, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FrontlineFB. We'll see you guys back here next week for more hot takes. Most likely, remember, leave a counter argument in the comments if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Maybe you have a different opinion and you can change our minds, but don't take it too seriously. They're hot takes for a reason. We'll see you guys next week.